So, hi guys, good morning. So, I'll be the one report about my topic Cavite Mutiny 1872. So, it was a remarkable event during 19th century in the Philippines. So, it happens when the uprising of military personnel in San Felipe on January 20, 1872. Two phases of the events in 1872 Cavite Mutiny. So, first is 1872 Cavite Mutiny, and the second was martyrdom of the three priests known as Gomborza. So, Spanish version, so it was a planned conspiracy. So, according to Jose Montero y Vidal, he highlighted it as an attempt of the Indios to overthrow Spanish government in the Philippines. Governor Rafael Escuerdo official report magnified the event as a native clergy, which was an active call in the call for secularization. So this was Governor General Escuerdo began his term as Governor of Philippines on 1871, replacing liberal-minded Carlos Maria de la Torre. So the Cavite Mutiny happened under his administration and execution of Gomborza. Two accounts complemented and corroborated with one another, only that the journal's report was more spiteful. So both of them scored out the abolition of privileges enjoyed by the workers Caviters now, such as non-payment of tributes and exemption from forced labor, became the reason of the revolution, as how they called it. So this is Jose Antonio Julian Montero y Vidal. So he was born on January 28, 1851 in the town of Gurgal in the Andalusian. He was a Spanish writer, politician, and was of the one most knowledgeable of the Spanish historians of the Philippines. At the time of the Cavite Mutiny of 1872, he was a government official residing in Manila. So Escuerdo blamed the unruly Spanish priests for stockpiling malicious propagandas grasped by the Filipinos. So he reported to the King of Spain that the rebels wanted to overthrow the Spanish. Lambasted the Indios as gullible and possessed an innate capacity for stealing. Two Spaniards deemed that the event was planned earlier. They insinuated that the conspiration of Manila and Cavite planned to liquidate high-ranking special Spanish officers, followed by Vasco de friars. The alleged preconcerted signal among the conspirators of Manila and Cavite was the firing of rockets from the walls of Intramuros, and it was on January 20, 1872, the feast of the Virgin Loreto was being celebrated. With that time, occasional participants celebrated it with occasional firework display. But those in Cavite mistook the firework as the sign for attack. And then 200 men contingent headed by Sergeant La Madrid launched an attack targeting Spanish officers at sight and seized the arsenal. When Governor Escuerdo heard of this, he ordered immediately reinforcement of the Spanish force in Cavite to quell the revolts. So, in that time, major instigator Sergeant La Madrid killed in the skirmish, and Gomborza were being tried to court and then sentenced with execution. So some patriots like De Tavera, Maria Regidor, Basa, the brothers of Pio and Jose, and other Burillos were suspected, arrested, and were sentenced life imprisonment at Marianas Island. On February 17, Spanish government and aspiration to instill fear among Filipinos so that they may never commit again, executed the Gomborza. So this event became one of the moving forces that shaped Filipino nationalism. So the Filipino version. So Dr. De Tavera, she insisted that incident was a mere mutiny by the Filipino soldiers and laborers of the Cavite Arsenal who turned out to be dissatisfied with the abolition of privileges. So he blamed the Governor Escuerdo's cold-blooded process such as the abolition of privileges of the workers and native army members of the arsenal and the provision of the founding of School of Arts and Trades for the Filipinos, which the general believed as a cover-up for the organization of political club. This is Governor Escuerdo's youth. So it was the 200 men led by Sergeant La Madrid assassinated the commanding officers and Spanish officers in sight at that time on January 20, 1872. Then it reached General Escuerdo's hearing about it and ordered immediate Spanish troops reinforced in Cavite. So this was Sergeant La Madrid. So Tavera believed that Spanish friars like this and Square used Cavite Mutiny as a powerful lever by magnifying it as a full-blown conspiracy. So the Gomborza compared to the secular friars or the secular priest of Spanish. So it's noteworthy that during this time, the government of Madrid announced intention to deprive friars power of intervention in matters of civil government and other management, especially educational institutions. So these turn events was told with Tavera that push the friars to do something to keep their powers in their hands. So government of in Spain welcomed the educational decree authored by Sigismundo Moret. So it proposed to improve the standard of education in the Philippines by requiring teaching passage in such schools to be failed by competitive examinations. This was Sigismundo Moret. So Taveras confirmed that the Madrid government came to believe that the scheme was true on what the friars said about the Cavite Mutiny. So the Madrid government believed about it. Educated men who were arrested or accused were left imprisonment while the Gomborza were executed in Garot. So unveiling the truth. For accounts of basic 1872 mutiny, there were some basic facts. So there was dissatisfaction. That was why the revolt happened. Second is General Escuerdo was being hot-faced when it comes to the Filipinos. He was so strict and very rigid on when it comes to policies. Central government failed to conduct investigation because they believe about what Escuerdo and Faras said. So the happy days of fires were numbered in 72, so they used it to extend their stay on power about they used the Cavite Mutiny to deprive the attention of the government of in Spain. So Filipino clergy members were allow Filipino priests to take hold of parishes in the country. So that's why the friars hate them. So Filipinos that time were participants of that secularization movement. The execution of Gomboza was a blunder on the part of the Spanish government. So it caused the Patets to call for reforms and eventually independence. There may be different versions of the event, but one thing is certain: Cavite Mutiny 1872 paved way for momentous 1898 on Independence Day. These are the four people. So the first one who are being garroted at the time was the first is Saldoa. So he thought of having a pardon when he implicates the three priests. And then the next one was Gomez, and then the third one who's being garroted was Zamora, and the last one was Burgos. So these were their their story when they were being garroted. So the road to independence was rough and tough. Many patriots name and unnamed shed their blood to attain reforms and achieve independence. June 12, 1898 may be a glorious event, but we should not forget that before we came across a victory, our forefathers suffered long enough. As we enjoy our freedom, may we be more historically aware of our past to have a better future ahead of us. And just like what Elias said in No Limit Tangere, may we not forget those who fell during the night. So that's my reports, guys, and thank you. So let's not forget about the Independence Day and how it happened. Thank you.